What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty video. Stage 3 is upon us, and you guys are probably wondering what's the best way to approach, the best way to get them done efficiently and fast, and I have a ton of tips. There's many different aspects to this. As one wise man, one dumb man myself, tweeted yesterday, stage 3 team affinity, it's like an onion. It has layers. I would do that in a Mike Myers voice if I was able to, trust me. So we're going to talk about a lot of things, a lot of tips regarding stage 3 team affinity. But as always, before we do that, make sure to leave a like if you guys have been enjoying the content. Definitely helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We do a lot of tips, gameplays, pack openings, news on this channel. We're pumping towards 50,000. Support's been crazy lately. Thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and dive in. There's a lot of stuff to mention. So, of course, the big aspect of this is you can now sell these players. So there's a huge making stubs aspect. So there's high priority. There's high reason why you want to get these done extremely fast and keep moving, keep the stub train rolling, and possibly get yourself a Mickelson mantle at the end of the day. That being said, the exchanges are a lot easier than they might have been because most people, most Rick and Morty viewers, as always, they know once the new stage comes out, they invest in a lot of gold player silver cards and they go up in price. That didn't really happen this time, maybe 100 stubs if that, but they didn't really increase. So the exchanges aren't that expensive. We'll talk about the best way to get that, but currently I've knocked out 3 affinities: the Braves, the Indians for Tome. Make sure to check that gameplay out top right hand corner. Turned out really well. And then the Los Angeles Dodgers, we're gonna go ahead and look at this one. So when it comes down to it, there's 2 angles. There's really only 2 ways that you guys want to be considering getting this done. I do quickly want to say, don't even bother with MTO. The only reason you should ever play March to October at this point, if you're doing it for affinities, if you just cannot reliably beat Showdown. It is extremely easy. We'll talk about why that is the case. And it is just, there's so much faster than doing MTO. So if you guys can play Showdown, please do that instead of MTO. It's not double points anymore. They didn't increase it whatsoever. So these are the 2 angles. The first one, they added 3 new missions per team, 90 moments in total. This is gonna net you 3 apiece, so 3 times 3 equals 9. So that's going to get you 9, a bit of an odd number. I do agree with you right there. And then, of course, you guys know the drill, the formula for Showdown. You get 5 vouchers. They each count for 4 points a piece. So that's 20 plus 20 equals 40, doing 2 Showdowns. And then 9, so you're at 49, a bit of a weird angle. So that's why I might not always recommend that you do those extra moments, at least right away. I think there's something that you want to do, because if you don't know, there's an exceptional amount of XP. You get 800. I think it's about 650 to 850 per moment that you do. This one's 800, this one's 850, and 300 to 350 stubs a piece. And in total, you get 40,000 XP from doing all 90 of the moments. They're usually not too difficult. And yeah, you get 40,000 XP, 10,000 stubs, and 5 free gold players. Man, where else are you getting 5 free gold players? Kidding, of course. Maybe. If you rub upon a magic lamp, maybe you'll get a diamond out of there, but save the calluses. Don't make me click X through that pack. Just give me 5 gold players and we're good. So all joking aside, that is something I definitely recommend, but getting the fastest, then you're gonna have to do something like innings. Maybe you have this, it does. If you are on stage 3, if you completed the stage 2, before this came out, your innings do transfer, so you might be right up on the edge, right close to that. You might not be. So then sometimes there are 9 innings online, which can be done in an event, but you don't have capability of using those players in an event right now. Pitching innings with Dodgers, this is kind of what I recommend. If you're willing to spend a couple stubs, and I mean quite literally a couple, it's really not a lot. If you do the 2 Showdowns, which is going to take you, these ones are pretty quick, I would say about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get both Showdowns done if you're a pretty good player, if you're decent at doing Showdowns. And then if you do an exchange, which is pretty cheap, you need 50,000 exchange points. I have everything laid out for you guys, all the numbers. What I recommend, what I've been doing as far as exchanges go is 74 overall players. That's always what works well for me, and they're not going for much on the market. Is this the cheapest way you can do it? No. You can do commons, but if you would prefer to wait overnight shipping on getting one of these cards, so be it. I want to get this done relatively fast, and for these 74 overall players, you're going to need 32 and change, which really is not many. Of course, you are going to be wanting to put buy orders. Usually they go around the 110 stub price. If you need 32 in total, it's going to cost you about 3,500 stubs. That is very cheap. You're gonna more than make that from doing the showdowns. So I think this is probably the best way to do it. Then you can get the showdowns done, get the affinities done, get the diamonds, and then worry about the moments later. I don't think that's a top priority. Yes, I have been doing it right now just because I kind of want to get up to level 25 prestige to get Thames Springer or Thames or Springer. So that's what I'm working towards right now. That's why I'm putting a little bit more oomph into that. But if you guys are strictly looking to make stubs, possibly by selling some of these cards, I think that's the best way to go. So unless you do have your innings right up next to it, I think 2 showdowns and then do the exchange cost about 3,500 stubs. If you want it to be even less, you can, but you're still gonna make stubs from doing those 2 showdowns with the packs. You get a free Ballin' is a habit pack at the end of it too. So I think that's definitely actually you don't. That's from the Affinity program. I apologize. But that is really simple. Let's talk about Showdown for a little, because I'm not going to make a separate Showdown tip video. It always is going to cost 1,000 stubs to enter. I'll just show you kind of how I draft. As far as I know, this is how it's laid out. Well, I know this one for a fact. It's West, East, and Central. So obviously, this is the pitchers that you're going to be facing is based off the Team Affinity pitchers. And this is what I have. If you do the East, you're going to have 3 righties and 1 lefty, possibility being Al Leiter. If you do the Central, it is, I believe, only going to be Tom Henke that you can face, or not Tom Henke, but rather what the heck, Kerry Wood. I don't know why I blundered that so poorly. And then if you do the West, you're gonna have 3 righties being Hershiser, Marischal, and Catfish Hunter. Glad I pulled that one out of my ass. So those are the pitchers that you're possibly going to face. So the only time you're ever going to face a lefty, maybe a 1 of 4 odds, is going to be if you're doing the East. So draft accordingly. You want to pick a bunch of lefties. I always, of course, recommend power. These are on veteran difficulty. Very easy to hit home runs, so that is always going to be my approach. You just have to write it down or kind of know it. You're going to recognize after doing it a couple times. I'm doing the West. I know there's no lefties. Whereas if I was facing a lefty, maybe I don't want to roll the dice on McCovey, because lefty is kind of challenging for some guys. So I'll go ahead and pick Willie McCovey there. And then of course I'm going to want a really offensive heavy draft. There are 2 rounds where you can pick up a starter and reliever. Don't pick up any more than that. There's absolutely no reason to. And I'm just kind of super speed through this. You guys get the idea. You want power, you want good hitters. Defense isn't really that important. I'll play guys out of position at third base who have like 40 fielding there, and they are just fine. That usually is not a big deal. We're gonna see we're gonna face the A's. Always make sure and look at this right here, especially if you are doing the East one, because if you do see the Mets right there, then start from that point on drafting more righties to counteract the lefty you're going to face at the very end. And then just to go and show you again, there are so many great rewards. 1,000 stubs from doing the final showdown, 6,000 XP, you get the vouchers, and it is really easy. Also, something I recommend, which I don't think I've said before in a video, make sure and do the second boss. If you guys are, you know, again, fairly competent at Showdown, make sure to do the second boss. You are in a very easy situation. You have 15 outs. It is, again, only on veteran difficulty. I think it's, you're down 2-0, so you have to score 3 runs, and you start with the runner on second base. That is really easy, and at that point, you're going to get a good amount of players to supplement you. And it's 3,000 free XP, a show pack, which could get you more stubs to finish off that exchange that I recommended that you guys do. So it is pretty easy. I've done, I think, 2 showdowns so far. I haven't really ran into any issues. It's not exactly fun, but you do keep playing the same ones over and over and over again. You kind of get used to it. I do recommend pretty much playing up until, I always play until 9 outs usually, or after this. If I really struggle on these ones, I'll go until like 7. I'm still comfortable with that. It's veteran difficulty. There's nobody disgusting. Your catfish hunter isn't disgusting. Maybe if you face like oral, that could be kind of tough for you with the sinker. It's really all up to personal preference on who you determine is actually difficult to face. But yeah, the showdowns, as long as you get into a groove and if you focus, I think you guys are going to be beating them. And again, just don't really think about March to October. MTO, it's not double points. Again, it's not triple points. It's just not worth your time unless you cannot reliably beat Showdown. There's really no point to play March to October anymore at this point, since they didn't increase the rewards. Talking about a few other things, because I'm not going to make a separate video again about this. You should never buy these cards. If you are considering it, and if you're watching this video, do not. Well, this is a bit of an asterisk on that, a bit of a Houston Astros asterisk. You know what I mean. Horrible joke. Yeah, it's beaten to death. It's the lowest hanging fruit. I'm well aware. But this is pretty much the ordeal. If you guys are on stage 3, there's absolutely no reason to buy these cards. Again, we just mentioned it. It's about 3,500 stubs to do an exchange. Do that 5 times. It's going to be less than 20k. There are a few that are going for less than 20k. So then I guess go ahead. These guys are going to drop in price. This might not be the case anymore, but just know for right now, at the time I'm recording this video, if you don't want to grind these out, if you don't want to play Showdown, if you don't want to do any of the work, do the exchanges. It's going to be much cheaper than just buying these outright. And absolutely, I think it's a great idea to sell these, even if you want it. Mike Schmidt's going for 70,000. He's going for 67. Sell now. These tend to be bidding wars, bidding bukakis, as the layman's like to call them. Nobody calls them that shit. But it's definitely really hotly contested. A lot of people are just it's like an auctioneer. It's like Storage Wars. Dave's just firing off. Oh, Dave, now there's Jared and Brandy. If you guys know that, yeah, maybe you'll get the reference. But always make sure sell these. They're going to go down in price as time goes on, as more people get up to stage 3, as more people get these diamonds. So sell them. Buy them back later. You're going to make a ton of stubs off of the ordeal. That's, I think, the best thing that you can be doing in Diamond Dynasty right now, alongside playing those moments afterwards. That's pretty much going to wrap up this video. In summary, if you do have innings close to being done, just play, I don't know, for example, I'll try to find a good one here for you guys. Maybe for the Braves I have an opportunity, not really, but you guys kind of, I think you understand what I'm saying as far as that goes. If you're close on innings, if you just need a couple more offline, couple more online, just go into an event, finish that out, and then you don't need to worry about the exchange at all. But otherwise, do 1 exchange, 2 showdowns, cost you literally 0 stubs. You're gonna get the stubs from doing the showdown, and you're gonna get a player just like that. And if you do the ones that go for a lot, you're gonna make a ton of stubs quickly. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Let me know what team affinities you guys are going towards first. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. There goes Mazaudi.